I think that editing it's a learned skill, and I think it's something that's very difficult to do with your own work because oftentimes, you have photographers who are rightfully really attached to the work that they've produced. They very likely had a strong emotional reaction to the work as they were shooting it. So what I have found is that when it comes to the editing process, it's often a difficult time for the photographer to sort of step back from those experiences and think objectively about both the visual arc and which images really are the most powerful. So I think it can be really helpful to go through that process in conversation. Smaller stories, personal stories, can be a touchstone to a much bigger issue. And yes, the New York Times and a lot of other newspapers are interested in covering really broad, important issues that are often a little bit hard to get at, and certainly are not necessarily the most visual topics. And so this ability to use a personal story as an avenue through which to talk about a bigger issue, I think is a tool that will serve these participants really well to develop. We always need people to find new ways to illustrate what these big picture stories are, and the personal stories helps you get there. Yeah. I'm currently working as one of the deputy photo editors at the New York Times. Part of what that means is overseeing our staff of photo editors and our staff photographers. In addition to that, I work as one of the page one photo editors. Part of what I think I'm here to talk about and to discuss with the participants is the editing process, and this idea of how you conceptualize and develop your work and your story ideas in order to make it into some kind of narrative story, whether that be a single image or a narrative photo essay or possibly even something more ambitious than that. Overall, I've been incredibly impressed with the quality of the work, and the self-assurance and the confidence that all of the participants this year have about their vision. And I think that that's such an important first step. I mean, first of all, to be confident in what you're trying to achieve, and second of all, to use that confidence and also some willingness to explore to kind of establish a real signature approach. I hope something really valuable that the participants have gotten out of this week is this idea of learning how to speak about photography. They are really in a huge growth period in terms of their ability to communicate things visually. In other words, communicate with their pictures. But I think it's hugely helpful to also be able to speak about your pictures and to speak about other people's photography and to talk about imagery, so that you're a bit more in touch with what it is you're trying to get across with your images. I find it refreshing that there isn't a sort of trend du jour among young photographers. And I do feel that I'm seeing a lot more variety at this point. There's certainly a lot of variety represented among this masterclass. And to me, it does seem like we've kind of broken away from the trendiness of a couple of years ago.